Coach, there's obviously challenging teams to prepare for all throughout the schedule, but this one even more unique than some of the others. What are some of the key things you try to look at and go back through your notes, back through playoffs or any other time you face this team?
Well, I think more relevant than last year because, if you look at our roster, we have a different group. We have a different group than the last time we played them. And they have, Steph Curry back. So I think what we didn't do well enough last game, especially in the third quarter, was they got out and ran. And that's what they do better than anybody in the league. Transition defense is a key, and it's a challenge because it requires constant communication. When you get cross-matched, you have to know personnel and know who you're guarding, and that would be the one thing that I think we really need to do a better job of.
You have in times in the past playing this team had players be very calculated about fouling if they try to get out and get going. Did you go over that with your team, and is that something you feel good about on who and when?
Yeah, that's something, for us, when we need to foul to take away a dunk or a layup or an open three, particularly after a turnover, that it's good basketball. It makes sense. Obviously not if you're in the penalty, the other team's in the bonus, and so you have to know this, know the foul situation. But it's something that you see throughout the league right now. It's not uncommon, and it's out in Europe for a long time. It's one example of how global basketball has its impact across the water.
If you watch how people play the Warriors, that their preference would be to have Draymond shoot rather than Clay, Kevin, or Steph, and yet he doesn't seem to fall into that trap. What does it say about him that he stays kind of inside what they're trying to do despite what defenses are how they're playing?
Well, the first thing is Draymond can shoot. So if you neglect him in any way, he'll make you pay. And, the thing that he does so well, that fits their team so well and makes everybody better is pass the ball. So there's a lot of times where you're, locked in and focused on, Curry and Thompson and Durant, and he's a passer, so you can't play off him. You've got to guard him, and that's a tough mix when you're trying to, Steph Curry's the best three-point shooter in the game, if not, Clay or Durant. They've got a bunch of them, and Draymond's he fits everything that he does, makes everybody better. I mean, he's a terrific player, and impacts the game in so many ways, including his ability to shoot the ball.
When you think about how you guys looked defensively the last time you played Golden State and gave them trouble, do you hope that having Rudy back, looking so different from what you guys were doing then, is an advantage for you guys? It takes them some time to figure out.
Well, when we say we lost by 20, so, and they put up a 40-point quarter, so our defense clearly, during points in the game was good, but that doesn't count. Playing well for a few possessions, so we have to string possessions together. Rudy obviously, is unique and impacts the game defensively. We've got to use him, and he's got to help us with that. But they're also, their ability to stretch the floor and shoot threes is something that is a challenge for every team. And a lot of teams try to pull Rudy away from the basket, and that's something that he's used to, we're used to, and we have to continue to get better at.
Since December, Steph's shooting 50% from three. Like, we kind of just say that now, but the idea that somebody can shoot 50% from three for an extended period of time doesn't seem...
What's his effective field goal percentage like?
It's about 69%.
It's a pretty good night.
It seemed like... is there any thought that this is maybe where we're going in some regard, that guys are going to be able to shoot it that well 10 years from now or something? It seemed a foreign thought that someone could ever shoot 50% from three for a 2-month span.
Well, I think what he does, it's also the degree of difficulty of the shots. When you're open and, you're in the corner on the line, it's a whole lot easier shot than, him jabbing and crossing over and shooting, from the high quadrant, 5 feet behind the three-point line. So I'm not ready to say that, all of a sudden everybody's going to be Steph Curry. I think his impact on the game and on younger players, it's, you see trends, and there are lots of them. And anytime you have a player that's a trailblazer of sorts, that younger people try to emulate, what that great player does. So, you know, playmaking bigs, you know, Steph with what he does. You know, there's all kinds of examples over the years where the game adapts, and frankly, you know, I feel like as a coach that, you know, we learn from the players. We try to figure out what the players do, and that's what we teach. They're the ones that, you know, they're the entrepreneurs, so to speak, you know, and we learn from them, and they break new ground, and then we try to figure out how to teach it and how to use it. Okay.